Talking. Hello, everyone. How are you doing, Mama?
Okay.
I am, no surprises, tired. I have had sleep problems where I would be awake all night and asleep all day.
Yep.
And now I am asleep in the evening. From like time is it now? It's 8. Because it's Sudoku time. Um, like 3 hours ago. And then I want to sleep until like 1 a.m. and then I wake up. So I can't catch a break. It used to be like I just wasn't getting enough sleep. And now I'm not getting enough sleep in the different direction. I don't know. I just can't catch a break.
Yeah. Trying to straighten out a sleep schedule, it's wonky is hard.
And like on Saturday, I think it was, I fell asleep at like 5-ish. And I woke up at a couple points in time, but I didn't really wake up like fully. I woke up for like a couple of minutes and then I went back to sleep. But was essentially asleep for like 12 hours, if not more. And so that flipped my schedule from being up for like a third shift style of being awake to more of like a second shift style of being awake. Or I don't know, like I have described what I was trying to I have described it earlier and I've already forgotten how I tried to describe it. Which is unfortunate. It is what it is, I guess. Anyway, I wanted to do the rest of the puzzles that Elytron had. And then I wanted to do, let's see, because Rock Rat Zero stopped by. So I wanted to do one of their puzzles as well. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do two-factor authentication, and then we're going to do a Rock Rat Zero puzzle. So let's get this set up here. And transition over here. Unless there was something you wanted to talk about. I just talked
No.
about how tired I am. Alright, then we have two-factor authentication by Elytron. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits in a cage represent a 2-digit prime number, read from left to right. Cells separated by a black dot are in a 1-to-2 ratio. Cells separated by a white dot are consecutive, and not necessarily all dots are given. Well, I guess I can go ahead and fill in all of these, because they are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6.
And 8.
But we're in a 6x6 Sudoku.
Oh, I guess we are. I guess that helps to pay attention to things like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, this one cannot be a 1, because it'd be bracketed by 2's. Well, we've got primes. So you can't end a prime, or at least you can't end a 2-digit prime in an even number. So 2, 4, and 6 is out. Which means this is 1 or 3, which means this is 2 or 6. I guess 1, 3, or 5, but you can't end a 2-digit prime in 5, so there actually have to be 1 or 3.
Yeah.
And this couldn't be 6, 3, it would have to be 6, 1, and it couldn't be 2, 1, it would have to be 2, 3. So that means they have to be 3 or 6, but it can't be both. Or neither. Because you can't do 2, 1, which means that this cannot be 3, 6. Which means it has to have a 2, so that's going to be a 6 and a 1. So that's a 2, 4. 6 means this is a 3 and a 1. This can't be 2, 4 anymore, so it can't have a 4 on it. Okay, but this couldn't be a 2, because it wouldn't go to anything. This is either 3 and 6, or this is a 1, and that's a 2. But if this is a 2, then this is a 3. If this is a 6, this is a 5. But if this is 3, then this could be, well, 2 or 4. Three are out. Can't have 63. Can't have 21. You can't have 51. This is 5 or 3, which means this is 1. These are 2 and 4. Means this is 1, 3, or 5. 3, 5, and 6. Oh, and again, you can't have 21. So this is a 4, that's a 2. Those aren't 4s. 4 can't pair with 1, so that's a 3-5 pair. A 2-6 pair means that's a 4, that's a 5. Phone's going buzz, buzz, buzz for no reason. 3, 5, 3, that's a 1. 2 and 6, and 4 and 5. Those aren't 3s, which means that's not a 6, also not a 1, because that's not a 1, so this has to be 3, 6, 5, not 5s. 6 has to pair with 5, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, which is a 2-4 pair here, so 3, 6, and 5, I think. So this one's 6, 2, 6, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 4, 2, 4, 2. This is a speedy little puzzle. First row from left to right. 6, 4, 1, 5. Solve the puzzle. Having to know the primes, I think, makes this go from very easy to regular easy. But otherwise, it's a nice puzzle. Oh, 51's divisible by 3, because 5 and 1 is 6. Oh. Yeah, so that puzzle's done. And that one was in this thing. Alright, and then I wanted to do one by Rockrat 0. See, so the star is difficulty, and the percentage is rating. So we want to avoid, like, this one here, for the moment. But they've done a lot of puzzles. Alright, let's try, I drink alone by myself here. I don't think we've done this puzzle.
It doesn't look familiar.
Okay. Let's refresh real quick. That way we get the rules here. So, I drink alone by myself by Rockrat 0. With apologies to George Thorogood. Normal Sudoku rules apply. 1 bourbon, top left, quadruple ice. The large ice cube is cold. It represents a minimized quadruple. The digits in the 4 adjacent cells are those contained in the circle. Renban glass. The glass outline contains a set of consecutive digits in any order. 1 scotch, bottom left. Minimum ices. The value in the cell in the ice squares must be lower than all surrounding orthogonal cells. Whisper glass. The glass outline contains digits which vary by at least 5 from their neighbor. And 1 beer, right difference Kropke bubbles. Cells that share a white Kropke dot contain digits that vary by 1. All possible dots within and on the edges of the yellow region are given. XXX cells that share an X contain digits that add to 10. Entropy glass, the long uprights, 5 cell long, on both sides of the glass and flat bottom, 5 cells long, are entropy lines, meaning any 3 consecutive cells must contain only one of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so there's a lot of rules, but I think they're fairly straightforward. So we've got like these consecutives. This would have to be like 4 and then 5. An X could be something like 3 and 7. Those have to be the set of digits 1 through 4. These ones, those were minimum ices. The value in the cell of the ice squares must be lower than all surrounding orthogonal cells. So this could be say it's a 3, but then this couldn't be 1 or 2. So it could be 4, 5, 7, and we could actually repeat a 7 here, and that would be fine. Then with this entropy line, I would have to do a low, a middle, and a high digit. But then this one, the next one would have to also be a low digit, and it could be, say, a 2. And then the next one would have to be but it doesn't have to be low, middle, high. So the 8 and the 5 could be swapped. It could go low, high, middle, low, and then the next one would be high again. Just depending. But yeah, I think that's all the rules. I guess we have a Renban here, and so that means that all of these are a full set. So that's 4, that's 5, 6, 7, 8. So this would be like 1 through 8 or 2 through 9. And then differ by at least 5. So this could go 1, and then this could be a 7, and then on the other side of 7 would have to be a 2. And that pattern continues all the way around this glass. So I think that's all the rules explained. So then let's go ahead and restart the timer so we can actually consider what's going on here.
Oh, 1 is given.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on an X, so we have a 9.
All right. Yep. Which is going to have to follow to 8. And this one has to be 9, because this one can't be. Which means this is going to have to be 6 and 4. 5 is going to be one of them, but then it could go to 3 or 7. But then all of the dots were given. All possible dots within and on the edges of the yellow region are given. So you can't put a 7 here, so that's out. And then one of these is going to have to be a 2. Which I think means one of these has to be a 3, because one of these has to also be a 7, because it's an entropy line. We already have a middle digit, so knowing that one of them has to be 2, because none of these could be 2, it means that's our low digit, and then 8 and 9 are already out for the high digit. So this is going to have to be a 4, with 3 and 5 surrounding it. 6 here for the middle digit. And then what's left over in the row? 1, 2, 3,
3 and 4.
and well, it's got to be a 5 because we already have a 4.
Right, but the 5 can't be there in the center too, because of the,
Right.
right.
And this one, because this is 1, 2, 3, and 4 means this is 5, and that's not. Okay, 7, 8, 9 means this is again 6 and 4. But there's no problem here with this being 6, 7, because it's not within the yellow region or on the border of it. So I don't think that's a problem. But this being a 7 means it's a high digit. This one now has to be a low digit, 1, 2, 3.
And then goes on around with the
Right,
middle
4,
4, 5,
5, 6,
8 or
8 or
9.
9. This one is that one. Yeah, so 4 or 5 here. But this one... Oh, I was going to say something silly. That it had to be a low digit because the rest of the... but that's only 2. There's nothing wrong with this one being anything. Okay. Well, I guess the rest of the digits in here are 1, 2, 3, and 5 again. So that one's not 1, and you can't repeat 5 on the Renban. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, and 5, which is going to actually place 3 and 5. And, well, none of these can be 2, because the 2 has to be down here, paired with that. So this is 7 and 2. And now we have 7, 8, and 9. So this digit is a 6. Two means this is 1 or 3 here. To follow through with the entropy line. Okay. And now this was an 8-digit Renban, which is a consecutive set of digits. So it's either 1 through 8 or it's 2 through 9. But it either has a 1 or it has a 9. So let's say let's say 9 did not exist on this line.
Well, we know 4, 7, and 8 have to.
True. 4, 7, 8, which takes 4 off of this one. 4, 7, 8. 9, 1, 9, 3, 5.
Now the one in box 5 there is the other half of a Kropke dot. And it's going to be a 5-6 pair. Because the 6 can't go to 7 and the 5 can't go down to 4. So that Kropke dot's a 5-6 pair.
Oh, right, because it can't reach the 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 5, 6, and 6. And 4 or 7. Oh, but this is a small digit. If this was 7, you can't connect 7 and 2 and 3. So 4, 5, 6. Not a 4. 6 and 4. But now this has to be... Well, I guess it could technically go back up to 5, but there's a 5 here. So 3, 2, 1, 9. And now we know for certain there is no 9 on here. But we know what these are. They're 4, 7, 8, and 3. Or this one's not a 4, so 3's off of those. That's a 1, 2 pair. That's a 3. These two aren't 3. And I didn't mess up any of those. Or things going across this way. What's left over in this box? I see 1, 2, 3. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So can't put 4 there. It has to be a 7. This one's not a 6. That one's not an 8. But we already have... oh, the entropy line ended. So this couldn't still be a 4. But this one cannot, because you couldn't do 3, 4 here without a Kropke dot. So that's a 6. Those aren't. This is a 4. Because this is fine, because they're not within the yellow region. The yellow region's here. But 6 and 7's not allowed. And 8 and 9 wouldn't be allowed either. So that works, I think. So then...
well, column 8's left with 1, 2, and 6.
And you can't
the 1,
put
2
6
on the
here.
Kropke.
What's column 7 left with 4,
4,
5,
5,
and
7.
That leaves 8, 9, and 3. And you can't put 6 with 5, 7.
5 or 7. And you can't put the 4 next to the 5.
1, 2 is fine. So I guess I want to take a look here. Column 6.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and 7.
7's not there. You can't put a 3 here. That's true. So the 7's down here, which means...
Well, the 1 can't be in the middle of the Kropkes.
Very true. So 2. 1, 3. This could be 2, but it can't be 4, so it has to be 2. But this being a 1 or a 2 means this is 1, 2, or 3, but it can't be 2 or 3, so it's a 1. So that's a 2, that's a 1, that's a 3, that's a 1, not a 3. And this being a high digit means that's a high digit, so this isn't a 3, so that is. But there's no conflict here with either of those being 8 or 9. So what's left over in column 5? 8, 9, and 5, I think? Yeah. But again, that's not, the 5 and the 8 or 9 isn't in a clash with the yellow region. So I believe the yellow region is complete. And then...
that one's a whisper line, right?
Yes.
Okay, so row 6.
And these are minimum. Row 6.
5 has to be not on the glass.
Right.
It's one of the two inside.
What's left
Well, a
over?
9
So
is going to
3,
have to be
5,
on
7. You can't
because,
make this one a 9.
yeah. And it can't be 7. The
Which
ice
one?
cube there, the ice cube, because it has to have, it's surrounded by what's larger.
Yeah, and it has to have at least 3 larger. So
Right.
that would be 8, 9, and 10. Now this one on the whisper line here can't be a 7 because 2 and 1 are both
Right.
here. 3, 7, 8, 9, but not 3 or 7. So 8, 9 pair makes that an 8. This is a 3, that's a 7. This ends up being a 5. 7, 9, 1, 2, and 6, I think. Or this one's not a 6. But 3 is surrounded by 8 and 9. So 4 and 6, I think, is what's left over. This has to
Well, it
be 1, 2,
can't be
3.
6 on the glass there in column 4 because it would have to go to a 1, which sees a 1 going down. Actually,
Right.
the 6 would have to be bound at both sides, but
Yeah. So it's a 4 surrounded by 9s.
well, and
Stuff
above
just
that
sort of
ice cube, the 5 ice cube can't be a 1.
2, 3, 4 triple. So I don't see a 5, and I don't see a 6. 5, 6, 8, 5. This has to be larger than a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess there's only one digit left in the row, which is a 7. And then this has to be smaller than 6, but it can't be a 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, but there's only one option because there's a 1, 4, and a 3. So that's a 2. 2's out of there. One, 3, 4, and 8. But not 1 or 8. I guess
Well,
this
3,
is
4
3
in
or
the
4.
row.
And 7.
High.
Nope, there's a 7. 8.
Yeah.
And you can't put a 4 here on the German Whisper because that would be 2 9s. So that's a 3, that's a 4. 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 1, 4, 1, 2. And I liked that puzzle because I was able to do that still sleepy. All right. Row 8 followed by column 9. Row 8. 8, 2, 6, 4, 5, 3, 7, 1, 9, 2, 6, 7, 1, 5, 4, 3, 9, 8. Left to right in both instances? Yeah. Congratulations, you have solved the puzzle. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't too difficult. I guess I'm not sure whether or not I would give it an easy or an average. Because like Crocky Dots and like the 10s were fairly straightforward. I think I'm gonna go with easy on that one. Like, I think the ones that was like the most complicated logic was maybe these entropy lines. Because like I had wanted to do some logic where it was like, okay, well, the Renban either had to have a 1 or it had to 9, but then you saw that it had to have 3, 4, and 7, and that led to a 5, 6 pair, and so that it wasn't even necessary to do what was even the options on there. So, and then, like, a lot of the German Whisper line for the down here was straightforward. The minimums were fairly straightforward, so I think I'm gonna go with easy on that one. And I enjoyed that puzzle, so that one's very nice. So submit to that one. Say again.
I said, oops.
What was oops?
I dropped my headphones.
Oh.
I almost dropped it into my cheesecake.
Oh no. This was by Rock Rat 0. Oh. Alright, and then I want to do a puzzle from the Kraken Cryptic channel. In fact, I think we're gonna do I don't know, I'll just pull them up one at a time. See where that gets us. Alright, so we are going to do Luck by Chris Napolitano. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits on an arrow sum to the digit in that arrow's circle. Within a cage, digits do not repeat and sum to the total given. All cages sum to 7 or 13. Either good luck or bad luck. Yeah, so arrows and cages, which are 7 or 13. Alright, easy enough. Well, that's a given 13 here and there.
Well, the box 9's got to be a 13.
Right. Okay, well, we've got 3 cages that have these arrows like that.
Right.
For boxes,
the circle in box 9, though, it's a 3-cell arrow.
Yeah. In fact, all of the arrows are 3 cells except for the one in
Right, but the one in box 9, that sums to that box sums to 13.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't have an 8 or a 9 on that circle. Because with the 7, it'll be 1, 2, 3. With the 6, it'll be 1, 2, 4. In fact, the 1, 2 is going to have to be inside. And it's going to be a 3, 4 pair in the corners. Do I have to explain why? Or do you see why? Although I guess if we're...
Well, so this corner, or this L shape here, sums to either 6 or 7, and this line here sums to either 6 or 7. And 6 has a 1, 2, 3, and 7 has a 1, 2, 3. So in here, we had to have 1 and 2, and on this line, we had to have 1 and 2. But, I mean, just starting with the fact that we had to have a 1 and a 2 inside of the cage takes 1 and 2 off of here. But then I still need both 1 and 2 on the arrow, so they're forced here, which takes 1 and 2 off of this one. Which you could have started with this and said you had to have both 1 and 2, and that takes the 1 and 2 off of this one, making a 3-4 pair there. I think that was reasonable logic. All of these 13s are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Which means we have to have 1, 2, and 3 on the arrows. Now this 3 means the 3 has to be on this arrow.
I think the 9, I think 9 has to be in one of the circles, with it being 1, 2, 6. Because you have to have 4 high digits. 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, one of them, you could have 2 in the 13, being the 6 and 7. Well, yeah, because you could have 6 and 7.
Yeah. And you have an 8, 9 pair.
Yeah.
But if this wasn't 6, 7...
Right.
How could either of these be 6? Because, like you said, the 9... okay, so if this wasn't 6, 7, where is 6 on here?
Right, it has to go on one of the arrows, if it's not in the 13.
Because this would be 7, 8, or 9, and these two are also high digits. So the last high digit has to be on the arrow, and the only possibility is that it is a 6. So yeah, so if this isn't 6, 7, the 6 has to be on the arrows. So that is true for all of these.
Right.
So you can't have a 6 in the circles. And that also means that for the 13s, you can't have 4, 9. Because if it's not 6, 7, then the 6 is on the arrows, which is going to have to be, like you said, 1, 2, 6. And well, it's still possible that you have a 9 that is 2, 3, 4. So 1s are not forced onto the arrow points. But we know the box is 45. Less 13 is 32. So we know that this is 32. Um, 7 and 9 is the minimum that these could be. 7 and 9 is 16. And 16 but that would be this digit counted twice. Hold on. If this was a 7 and a 9, well, 7 would be 1, 2, 4. But then the 9, because you'd have to have 5, 8 in here, would be 1, 2, and 6. And I'd have to have both 1 and 2 on the arrow points. So I don't even have to do the mathematical analysis. I can, the summation of, like, everything. I can just focus on the options. Because if I put a 7 on here, that removes the 6, 7 and makes it 5, 8. So that is 1, 2, 4 and 1, 2, 6. And again, because they share, I guess, where would 3 go if this was 7, 9? And so there's lots of ways to go about it, but that forces these to be 7, or excuse me, 8, 9.
Oh, right, because, okay, yeah, never mind. I eliminated what my issue was. Because I forgot they share one digit. It's like, well, no, because if 8 has to have 1, but I forgot they shared that one digit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So these are 1 through 5, and these spots where 3 isn't allowed are gone. Now, clearly, the shared arrow point,
it can't be 5.
Yeah. Can't be 4 either. Well,
right, because if it's 4, then for the side that's 9, it has to sum to 5. Well, you can't use 1 and 4, and you can't use 2, 3. Because 4 on the 8 side is 1, 3. So on the 9 side, you obviously can't do 1, 4 for the 5, and you can't do 2, 3 for the 5.
Right. And we know that the loop sums to 32. So, or rather, the horseshoe.
The 3 can't be shared either. Because if it's 3, for the 8, it's going to have to be 1, 4.
Uh-huh.
And the 9 side sums to 6 if it's 3. Well, you can't do 1, 5 because you've already got 1 and 4. And you can't use 2, 4 because it's on the 8. So it can't be, yeah.
Okay. And then a 1 would be 2, 5 if this was 8. Well, actually, how can this one be 9? Because you can't do 4, 5 here, so it's either 4 or it's 5, but then you'd have to have 1 and 2. Well, 1 and 2 is 3, and 3 and 5 is 8. So this can't even reach 9. So this is 8, 9. And you can't have 4 because 4 and 5 is 9, and 4 and 1 and 2 is 7. So that's 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 5. And now this is 7, so that has to be a 2 and a 1, 5.
And the cage in box 5 sums to 13. Because it can't be 7, because that'd be 1, 2, 4.
Now, I think the same logic that applied here applies here, because you can't do 4 and 5, that would be 9, and you'd have to at least do one more for 10. So again, 1 and 2 is forced onto here, because one of these has to be a 1 and 2, that has to be a 1 and 2, so that's 3. 3 and 5 is 8, which is the maximum that I can do, so 8 and 9. And then again, 4 is not allowed, 1, 2, 5, 2, 5, 3 and 4 makes a 2, 1, 5. Now this one, because the 3 doesn't force things, does this still have to be a 2? Because, well, this being a 1, 2 means neither of those are 1, 2. But, the horseshoe, another symbol of luck, is 32, because it's 45 less 13, which is 32. And, we know that 8 and 9 are 17, which means that this and this sum to 17. But this one is counted twice. So this is less than 17 by 2. Which means this does have to be a 2, then. Because this we know is 15 plus 17, which is 32. But this whole group is 15, but if you add this one again, it gets you to, this whole group is 15, but we have to add the arrow point again to get to 17, and that has to be 2. Because if it was a 1, that would be 15 plus 1 is 16, which is less than 8 and 9. Yeah, so this has to be a 2. So that's a 1, that's a 2. We still don't know what that one is, but we've got a 3-4 pair and a 6-7 pair, so it's actually 3, 4, 6, 7, 2, 8, 9. Take out some options. Obviously, you can't have a 1 on a circle and 9 on an arrow. 1 and 2. Okay, now, these cannot be 3 and 4 together.
Right.
But, that doesn't matter because one of these is 3, 4. And the other is 1, 5. Because the 1 has to go on the 8 side, and 1 and 2 and 5 is 8. So, one of these is 1, 5. Well, in fact, we know the 1 is over here, so the 5 can't be, because it's going to have to go over here. And then you've got a 3, 4. But this is a 1, 3, 4 triple. I guess I want to do this column because we've got an 8, 9 pair and a 6, 7 pair. So 6, 7, 8, 9. And this one isn't 1, 5, or 3. This one isn't 2. This one isn't 3 or 4. And this isn't 1 or 2.
I have noticed that the cage that is strictly in box 1 and the cage that is strictly in box 2 cannot both be 7. Because to be 7, either one of them would have to be 3, 4 because of what they see in their row or column. Because the one in row 2, it sees both a 2 and a 6, so it can't be 2, 5, and it can't be 1, 6, so it would have to be 3, 4.
Okay.
And the same with the column 5. So they cannot both be 7.
Okay.
They could both be 13 still, I think, but they can't both be 7.
Yeah. Well, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We know that neither of them can be 6, 7. This one couldn't be 8, 9, so this one couldn't be 4, 5. But then we also have 3, 4 as an option. I don't know. Anyway, you've got a 3, 4 pair down here, which means this one's a 5 and that one's not. That's a 1, that's a 5. Takes 5 out of all that. 8, 9 pair means this isn't an 8. These two aren't 5. But 8, 7, and 6 are the only possibilities for this one.
Right.
Because if it was a 5 and a 2, that would only be 7. So that has to be minimum 6. And then okay. We've got a 1, 3, 4 triple here. 1, 3, 4, and 2 is out. So 8, 9, and 5. But this one also can't be 5. This one, well, it can't be 3 or 4, but it was already not 3 or 4. This one's not 6 or 7 because of the 6, 7 there. And this is 6, 7, 8, or 9 to finish out the box. I don't know if it's useful to... Oh, but one of these has to be 5. And that's a 5, so 5 has to be in here, and it's not the top. But it's one of those two. So that's less helpful. And I think this has too many options.
Yeah. It's got too many. It's too...
A little bit. If this was 7, that would be 2, or not 2 and not 5. This couldn't be 3, 4.
Or 3, 4.
This is the 3, 4 down here.
Mm-hmm.
If this was 1, 5, this would be, well, 6 and 1, but that doesn't work.
No, because 1 and 5 both come out, yeah.
So this would have to be 3, 4, and 9. Okay, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 6. And if we've got 13, Well, 9 and 4. 4 and 9 is the 3, 4 down here. But there's still options.
Right. Although, let's see. Yeah.
Regardless of what this is, these cannot both be 7 either. Because if this is 1, 5, that ruled out 7 there. And if this was 3, 4, that ruled out 7 here. But it's not enough to rule it out of both. I don't think.
Right.
We know this is 13. 6, 7, 3. 1, 2, 5, 8.
Well,
2,
the other two don't have a 2 in them
2
either.
and 9. Also not a 4. Well, we know this is 13.
It can't be a 9.
Because it would have to be 1 and 3 with it. So this is a 4. Because it can't be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we just ruled out 9. So 4.
So those are 1 and 8.
So this is a 3, 4, 3, and this is 7. 6, 7, 4, 3, 2, 1, 6, 7, 3, and 4. Not a 7, not a 7. One of these is 6, so this one isn't. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. This isn't 8 or 9. Nine, 7, 8, 4. 3,
Row
5,
5.
and
Sorry, row 5. That's a 5-9 pair.
9. So this is a 6 and an 8. 9, 5, 9, 8, 6, 9. Not a 9.
Box 6 can be completed 4 over 7.
This,
Oh.
no, it's top 2.
7 and 9.
Those are in order. 4, 9, 7, and 6. And then
2, 5, 6.
5. Well, that took out 5, 8. So this has to be 7. And now this cannot be 3, 4.
Right, and box 1, that one's now 13. And so is the other one, because they couldn't both be 7.
Right. And the 1, 5 ruled it out anyway. So that was 5 and 8, so 6 and 7. 2 and 6, not 7. This is 1 or 8. Go with that one. I guess we know what these three are. 4, 6, 1, 5, 8. 9, 2, 7. And 7,
1,
2,
8,
3, 4,
5.
9. But this is 8 and 5, so that's a 1, 5 and 8. 7 and 2, 4, 1, not 5. 8, 6, 7, 8, 1, not 6. This is 3 or 4. There's with that 3 or 4 to take a 3 out. 1, 5,
1,
or
5,
6,
6.
so not 5.
Well,
This
row
row,
1 is 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 6.
so that's a 1, that's a 6, that's a 2, 5, 1, 5, 3, 4, 3, 6, 4, 3, 4. Need a
3 and
3.
9.
And we're done. Nice. Search puzzles. Search. Paste. Oh. Luck. An author. Well, let's just search. There it is. I'm glad I didn't put in their full name, because on here,
Right.
yeah, that seems to be the column 1, 2, 5, 3, 8, 7, 9, 4,
4 and 6.
6. Nice. Yeah. I wouldn't say that that was easy. Because I think
Yeah,
that
I would go average on it.
these horseshoes were actually fairly complex to think about, as well as the options for the 3s and 13s and 7s. I think we had to put in the digits for the 13 here in the middle. Yeah. Anyway, either way, I think average is appropriate, so I think that was a good puzzle. I mean, I don't know. It's got a 1 star for difficulty, but I don't know. Like, I think. Well, I don't know. I guess I don't necessarily want to speculate on how other people are thinking about difficulty, because I don't necessarily equate how long it takes to do a puzzle with how easy or hard it is.
Well, and sometimes that depends on how tired you are. Because, I mean, we've had some that it's like, I'm not getting this at all. And then we
Mm-hmm.
come back when we're fresh on it, and it's like, oh, well, this wasn't so hard after all.
Yeah. All right. I see. Tolrak has commented. Looks like a lot of it is puzzle related stuff. Yeah. Okay. So it's just stuff from the puzzle we just solved. But yeah. But now that Tolrak's here, let us take on one of Tolrak's puzzles. I was just commenting along the solve. Feel free to ignore now. Sounds good. But yeah. Yeah, we solved luck. We plugged it into Logic Masters Germany. Need that. Mute this and hit play on that. And then we solved one of Elytron's puzzles. We solved one of Rockrat Zero's puzzles. So then let's plug in one of Tolrak's puzzles. Oh, you've got a new one here. Irregular Stairs. Let's try that one out. You just released that yesterday. It's another pie snake, but with a twist. Okay. Irregular Stairs by Tolrak. Place the digits 1 through 8 once each in every row, column, and box. Cells separated by a knight's move in chess cannot contain the same digit. Digits within a cage may not repeat and must sum to the total in the top left corner of the cage. The gray line is a palindrome. Digits on it read the same in both directions. All right. Tolrak is saying, oh, you wanted to recommend, oh no, the pie snake ate my sum clues. Unfortunately, I didn't get many solves. Okay, well, let's solve that one first, and then we'll try, Irregular Stairs. So that was this one. Okay. Yeah, yeah, unfortunately, I need to get a second monitor so I can have chat like in front of me. But unfortunately, I have to look down at my phone to see chat. Let's see. Can I recommend? Oh no, unfortunately, didn't get my solves. It's another pie snake with a twist. Has 7 cells, some of the 3. Oh no, this one isn't it. Okay, cool. All right. So, oh no, the pie snake ate my sum clues. Yeah. Okay. By Tolrak, we've got pi listed here. Sudoku, place the digits 1 through 9 once each in every row, column, and box. Some hungry pie snake. Color 25 orthogonally connected cells to create a 25-cell long, 1-cell wide snake that doesn't branch or touch itself orthogonally. The snake contains the first 25 digits of pi in the correct order given above. The cells that are part of the snake do not contribute to the sums of the little killers, X sums, or X clues. Little killer, digits along diagonals indicated by the arrows outside the grid must sum to the number given by these arrows. X sums, the other numbers outside the grid show the sum of the digits in the first X cells in that row or column, where X is the digit first seen from the clue. Even if it's on the snake, snake cells seen by the X sum still count toward the cell count of the X sum, even if they don't contribute to the sum. So X clues digits in cells separated by an X must sum to 10. Not all clues are necessarily given. Okay. Alright, so X's are summed to 10, so that would be something like 3 and 7 or 2 and 8. But then we're saying that these are x sums. So let's take this 8. We could place a 3 here, and that would mean that the first 3 digits would sum to 8. So that would be 3, and then I would need an additional 5, so that would be 1 and 4, and that would give us 8. If I did 2 instead, then I'd place a 6, and that would be how that sums to 8. Now, these little killers are a little different, because, like, normally this whole diagonal would have to sum to 4, but clearly that's impossible. But with the fact that the pi snake removes values from here, it I don't know, means that, like, the snake is gonna come through here and eat a lot of these digits to allow it to sum to 4. But yeah. So I think that explained the rules. So let's go ahead and restart here so we have the time. And I think I'm going to start out with the fact that the X clues here still must sum to 10, but the cells that are part of a snake do not contribute to the sums, which means that it's not possible for the snake to go through here. Because if it did, then it wouldn't contribute to the 10, and then you can't do 10 in a single digit. And clearly you can't do 10 in 0 digits. This little killer's 2, so it's going to have to be not on the snake. And with the 8 being a 2, it's going to have to be followed by a 6 in order to make that work. $35 means that we're less 10. And I already know that we have 8.
Which is 2 more. Or 2 less than 2.
How does that work then? I can't do 2 in a single digit. Excellent. The other numbers outside the grid show the sum of the digits.
Unless it...
Okay, so what it means...
That's an 8 and on the snake.
It has to overlap with the 8.
Right.
Because if it didn't, then, like, even if it went all the way up to the 8, then the snake could only eat 2. And if it ate 2, it could only do that by eating a 2, which already exists. So this has to be 8 or 9. If it's 8, we have a 2 over here, and then I'd have to eat 6 more, which would have to be 1 and 5. No, I need to eat 8 more. Which I could eat 1, 3, and 4. I could eat the 8 itself, although that would be in the middle of pi, so that wouldn't work. So I'd have to eat 8 somehow in here if this was 8 or 9. Or excuse me, if this is 8. If it's 9, then I just simply eat 10 up here somehow. But I think regardless, because this is an 8 or a 9, and where it's located in the grid, this has to be a non-snake digit. Okay. One 9 or 3 7. Because 2 8 and 4 6 are removed. Alright, 32 is less 13, and 13 has to be a minimum of 2. So this is still a 7 at a minimum. But we can go to or no, 7. That's not how you calculate the minimum. 13 can be done in 4. So this is 5 or 6. Can't be a 6 because there's already a 6 in the box. 25 has to be at least 4. Although if it was 4, well, 7, 8, and 9 is 24, so that would be fine. 27, 4, and 7, 8, and 9 should work, so that goes there. And, well, this can't be a 3, so that has to be not snake. Okay, and then I want to consider these diagonals. I guess I want to consider them separately. So let's make this one purple and this one blue. The most that I can have in purple is 3 cells. 2 1s and a 2.
Right.
For 6, I can do 4 of them. Which would be 2 1s and 2 2s. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that it's allowed to be fewer. Obviously, there has to be one somewhere that matches. We've got this one, which has 3. But again, I could just put 3 1s. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have to take out 4 of these. So,
in order for that to be snake, it would have to be one end or the other.
right. So it would have to be a 3 if this one was a snake digit. And, well, this would end up being a 4 if it was a snake digit, because it would have to go 3 1 or 3 4. But if I absorb this, and it's a 4, then that would be saying that these 3 were 25, but they're minimum 24. So this one could not be snake, because it would make that a 4, which then wouldn't work with the 25. So this one cannot be a snake cell. So that means it's 1, 2, or 3. if it was a 3, then this entire thing is snake. Which I doubt. But I'm not sure how to think about that. I can only have a maximum of 3 of these. And only 2, a maximum of 2 per box. Okay. If I go back to thinking about this being 8, and that means that 35 is all of the digits here. But that means 2 is missing, but I also need to absorb 8 more from the snake. I could do that as being 3, 1, 4. But if I did that, I would break this 10. So how else could I absorb 8? I couldn't do it as 1, 7, because again, that would break the 10. Can't do 2, 8, I already have a 2, and that would be an 8. 3 and 5 would have to be the only way it would work then. However, well, there is space for it to be 3, 5.
Yeah, and there's a 5, 3, 5 sequence.
Mm-hmm. So doesn't branch or touch itself orthogonally. So we know the snake has to come in here. And it can't take up all 4 of these, because there's a 2. So when the snake comes in, it has to take up 2 cells, and then it can leave. Or 2 more cells, and then it can leave. So it has to take up 3. Which means these are going to both be snake cells here. Because there's no way for it... Well, no. The only way that it were to work to be less than 3 is if the head of the snake or the tail of the snake wasn't in here, right? So if it was the body of the snake, it has to be like this. somehow. And would make both of those snake. However, if I put the head of the snake in here, it could just be the head and leaves. It could be 2 and leaves. Or it could be 3 and leaves. But if it was just the head, then that would just be 3. But I need a minimum of 8. And the only way to get a minimum of 8 with the head of the snake is if it was 314, which I've already ruled out as a possibility because that would break the 10 here. And so it can't be the tail or head of the snake that is up here. Because if I get 8, then it breaks. And if I get... And then I can't do enough from the other side. So I'm pretty sure this has to be the body of the snake. And if it takes up 4, it would have to be a 9 here. But you can't do 10, so that would be a 2, because the 2 here. And 10 is minimum 4 cells. The minimum you can make in 4 cells. So I think that's enough to conclude that these two have to be snake cells. Which means I can actually take blue and purple off of here. So somewhere in the middle of this, would be something that sums to 8. In 3. No. Because the only way to get 8, if I were to make this an 8, was 314, which breaks this. And because I've said that this has to be 3, because if the only way for it to be less than 3 is if it was the head of the snake or the tail of the snake. And the only way to get to 8 was 314, which we already said was broken. And the only way to get to 8 from this side just doesn't work. Because 3 and 4 is 7, and 6 is 13. So it's not, if I were to put an 8 here, it's not the head of the snake that cancels things in here. So, so then the only other way is the snake loops in and comes back out. So it has to take up a minimum of, it can only take up 3 cells, because if it took up 4, it would be 10, and that doesn't work with the 2, whether or not this is an 8 or a 9. So I think that's enough to prove that this isn't an 8, and therefore it's a 9, which means 1 and 9 is out here, 7 and 9 is out there, that's not a 3. Which means that in here, I need to find 3 digits that sum to 10. In order. 415 does it. But I think that's the only thing that does it. Are you seeing a different option, Mama?
No.
Okay. So 37926. So if it has to be 415, then the 8 is out. One of these has to be 1. Because it's 415 or 415. Or it could go backwards and be 415 or 415. So neither of those is 1. So then this one isn't a 9. So then where does this one connect? Because it's going to be something that looks like this or something that looks like this. But I can't have 2 1s in this box. So that's not going to work. So it's going to have to look like this. So that's going to take that out. 1, I said, had to be one of these. So this has to be a 1. So that is going to be 4, 1, 5, 8. And then 9.
Yeah.
Okay, so then our 2 is here, and our 3 is there. And
that's not snake at all, it's green.
Yeah, double checking whether or not it can touch diagonally, which it can. So, not snake. Okay. So, essentially, we've done this far. So then, what's the next digit from here? Well, it's going to have to be a 6. And I guess that 6 can be all the way up to there, but we know the 8 is not. Never 5, 3, 7, 1, 9. Now we still have to absorb a lot more of this, as well as a lot of this.
Right.
After the 6 is a 5. So this 6 would have to go to 5. This 6 could go to 5 here. This 6 could go to 5 going left or right. But this 6 would have to go to a 5 here. And then we get a 3. Okay, so you could go 2, 6, 5, 3, 2, 6, 5, 3, 2, 6, 5, 3, 3. I'm pretty sure we don't end up snaking around like that. But it's a possibility, technically. But I feel like I'm missing something that would be a bit better to do here. $16. Well, if I did 16 and... If I did a 3, then these two would not be allowed to be snake. And this would be 13. However, well, no, this would be 1 and a 2, 8. Four, 5, 6. If this is 3, then I need to make 13. I couldn't do 4, 9. That would have to be a 1 and a 2, 8, so I couldn't do 8. I can't do 7, but then I can't do 5 and 6. So this can't be a 3, this is going to have to be a 7. Which means that I'm going to have the snake absorb quite a few of these, because I can only have 9 left over. And okay, if that was a 3 again, then 13 and 2 digits can't be 4, 9. That has to be 1, because it's the only digit that could be a 1. And then this would have to be 2 and 8. So that would take out 8 and 5, and then 3 and 7 takes out 6, 7. So yeah, so that's definitely a 7, that's definitely a 3. Alright, I think my speculation is going too far. Is there any reason why the snake not taking up all of this isn't allowed? I know that this is minimum 3. And if it's not on the snake, it's 3 or 4. Okay, can this be a 4 still? Because you can't put a 9 in this group.
It would be 23, and the last switch is 6, 8, 9, which doesn't work.
Say again?
Well, if you've got a 4, then you have to get 23, which is 6, 8, and 9 in 3.
Right.
But the 9's already there, so that wouldn't work. Unless
Okay.
I misunderstood it, you could, but I don't think I did. I think it still takes in only those 4 cells.
Yeah.
If it's a 4.
Yeah, so the 4, it would still have to be within that range.
Right. So that can't be a 4.
Then it can't be a 5 either, because the 9 doesn't contribute. Because
right. It's on the snake, so it doesn't count toward the sum.
Right. So, because what are the maximum that these 3 can be? 8 and 6 and 7 is 21, and 5 is 26. So, not a 5. A 6 allows us to get to here, and an 8 allows us to get to here. But how many are not on the 27? 45 minus 27 is 18?
18. Mm-hmm.
And we know for sure that 10 are not on here. And we know that whatever this digit is definitely not on here as well. So either... Well, we know we get up to here. So either these 2 sum to 8, or these 4 sum to 8. If I made this a 6, then we know that that one would be not allowed to be a snake. So it would have to be, because the digit that could be here if it was a snake cell would be a 6. So if this was a 6, we know we are missing all of these. And probably this one. But if that one was included, then these 2 would sum to 8. Or these 3 sum to 8. But I don't have a 1, so it's not possible for 3 to sum to 8.
Right.
So this could only be
3, 5.
right. So if this is a 6, this is 3 and 5. But if this is a 6, then this would be 2.
Well, if it's an 8, then
Uh-huh.
it goes to the cell past the 1, and you still have to have 8 that's not on the snake.
I still have to have 8 that's not included in the 27.
In the 27, right.
Yeah. And so an 8 means that I have to include at least one of these two, because this one isn't included, and it can't just be 8 again. So 6 made it 3 and 5. And an 8 means that I have to have... Well, it'd have to be these two. So in either instance, this one ends up being non-snake. Because, like you said, what doesn't end up on the 27 has to be 8. And if this is an 8, then it has to be 2.
8, right, and the 8 has to be in 2 cells.
Yeah.
Which has to be 3 and 5, because it sees... It sees the 1 for 1 and 7, if it's... And it can't be 2 or 6 in box 1.
Because the 8 can still be a 3-5 pair here.
Yeah. But it just doesn't... It would, in fact, the 3 would be to the left of the 1.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to decide whether or not this is forced to be a 3, though. Because, let's say these two were the ones, like, it goes 9-2 this way and down. But I guess that would be a 2, and then I would need a 6 over here, which doesn't work. So, does that prove that this one is green? Not on the snake? Because it has to be 3-5. Because 6 forced 3-5 over here. 8, well, if that was snake, it had to be 2, so then that would have to be 6. But that can't be
And
6.
It can't be.
So, okay. Then that forces a 2 here. Which places a 1, takes out 2, takes out 8. But in either case, it's 3-5 over here, and this one has to be the 3, and that one has to be the 5. And the 3 is off, the 3 is snake. And now none of these can be snake, because, well, I mean, I guess technically this could be snake, but it has to end in 3. So that's not allowed, and then it can't touch itself orthogonally, so those aren't allowed. Regardless of whether that was 6 or 8. And then you have to have 6 or 8 on here. So 7, 3, 1, 9, 6, 8. And then that can't be a 5, so this is going to have to be 5, because that's a 2, 4, 6, 8 quad. Now, if this 5 was not on the snake, then that would be 5 plus 2 is 7, plus another 7 is 14, or 5 and 4 and 7, to make 16, And then that would make all 4 of these on the snake. What's left over in here? 5, 3, 1, 9. 2 can't go in either of them. Oh, never mind. I don't need to prove that 2 can't go in either of them. But where do I put 8 in here? Those can't be 8. Those can't be 8. And neither of those can be 8. Because this one couldn't be a 2. So this is an 8. So that's not an 8. That's not a 2. That's a 2. That's not an 8. 4, 6, 7, and 3. And then 7, 8, 9. Take 7 out of both of those. Okay. So that's 14 if this 5 is not included. Or, excuse me, that's 14 if the 5 is included in the sum. It's probably not, but I don't know that for sure yet. Okay, the only way... Oh, wait, we know that this cannot be on the snake. Because we've got a row of 3. So this cannot be a 7. So this is. So this one, because it's a 5 and we have a 4, at minimum, this one has to be on the snake. So then that has to connect through this 6. Because that's the only way that this 5 continues around. So that's a 6, that's a 4, 4, 6, 3. Okay, so this one's not there. This one's not on blue. So then the 5 continues. Okay. 2, 6, 5. This has to be a 3. And now I can't do 1, 3, so one of these has to be a 4, and that's going to have to be this one. Three continues into a 5, which is going to have to go here. So this has to be a 2. And this has to be green, because 5 is going to have to go down. 2 and 8. And then it can't go this way, so it has to continue down to a 9. Okay, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 9, 2, 6, 5, 3, 5. Say again?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
8,
And
9,
next is 7, and it can't go left.
So these are green. 7 then goes to a 9, which can't go right or down. So that's this way. and now I need another 3, which is going to go here. And now I need a 2, which is going to go up or down. But what's in here? 3, 5, 8, 9, 2, 4, and 7. Well, that forces that to be a 7. This is green, so it has to be a 1, because we've got orange. And
4 and 8's left in the column.
Which one? This one? 4, 8?
That one, yeah.
This
and
one,
1, 2.
What's left over here? 3.
3, 5, 6.
So 2 had to go up or down from here. And then we're going to go to another 3.
Well, it can't. The 2 can't go down and then go to a 3.
So 2, 3. And we end up with all of this ending up green. So these have to be snake cells, because this is a 1. Three, 1, 4, 1, 5, 9, 2, 6, 5, 3, 5, 8, 9, 7, 9, 3, 2, 3.
8. And it's just going to have to go left because it can't go up.
8, and now I need a 4, which is going to go up or down.
It's going to have to go down so it can touch the...
Yeah.
Well, no, I guess it could go... No, because it
8,
has
4,
to touch get to both of those.
6, 2, 6, 4, 3. It's not going to be able to wrap around. 4, 6. And then it's going to have to connect to here, which is going to have to be another 6, so then 2.
Row.
This is going to be 4. And 3.
Box 8.
Okay. Box 8.
Box 8. The 2. There's a 2 in columns 5 and 6, so that's a 2 there at the bottom of column 4.
All right. I guess, do we technically know that that rules out this 2?
Well, it can't be a 2 now because of that 1, 2.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
anything, excuse me, everything else is green now. 5, which is apparently here. 8 has to go in the center. 9 here, 7 here. And then I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. And then 2, 5, and 8, I think. 1, 5, and 7. These 2 are 5 and 9. 1, 4, 6, and 7. $25 is missing 20. And I've got 8 here, which means that these 2 sum to 12. They're never 6, they're not 3 and 9. And 5 and 7 is already done, so that's 8, that's 4. 6, 4. What's left over? A 2? Not an 8, which means that's an 8. 5, 2, 7, 1, 5, 9. 7, 1, 9, 7. And just to double check, this 32 was missing 13, and that's 13, so that's good. I need a 3, a 6, and a 9, and that's solved. Nice. I don't know how much of that was made more difficult just because we were tired. I know I really struggled with this part.
I didn't focus on a whole lot of there when I wasn't even talking. I was kind of half gone.
Yeah. I don't know. We might have to reevaluate. Or I don't know if we have to reevaluate, because I don't know if you have the time to be flexible with the time. That we do Sudoku. At least not on days that you work.
Yeah.
No. We didn't have time for regular stairs, but that's fine. Column 2. 637. 895. 214. Alright. I very much enjoyed the puzzle. Difficulty-wise, I struggled on this, but I think it was mostly because I was tired, and not because it was that difficult. I don't think I would consider this an easy puzzle, so it's at least average, but I think it... Because, like, the thing that I'm struggling with is it... It is, I think the length of time it took was mostly because I was tired. Or rather, we were tired. But, like, this part here, I struggled with. I think it was easier than I made it, but was still I would I guess consider it a bit advanced. And then, like, trying to wrap my head around this, how this digit impacted the 27 and the sums here. I struggled with that quite a bit. So I think I have to say that the puzzle was hard. Because, like, this part was straightforward enough, but it was figuring out the way that this one worked. And the 35. Although the 35 was a lot more straightforward once my brain was able to mesh onto the way that this ruled things out. I don't know. Even still, yeah. I think hard is how I would rate that one. It was fairly complex in the ways that, like, the mathematics had to be done. Anyway, comments. Unfortunately, let's see, where did twist, and it has 7 cells summing to 3. Okay, effectively consider all snake cells as 0 for the sum clues. That makes sense to simplify the rules. Fantastic solve, hope you enjoyed it. Removed all the hints that you didn't use or need, which was all of them. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how YouTube cares about the comments for the engagement. So I don't know whether or not YouTube gets upset if comments get removed. But I don't know. I was trying to not use the comments. But I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me, and then I'd rather have them if I felt like I was fully stuck. But I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, I enjoyed that puzzle. So I think I just need to figure out my sleep schedule so I can stop being asleep while solving puzzles. But other than that, we are 18 minutes past time, so transition over to talking and wrap things up. I think it's mostly watch time that matters on YouTube, from what I've heard. That makes sense. Never tried making a video yourself. I don't know. It's I don't know. One of these days, I'm hoping that I can make some money from YouTube, but I don't know if Sudoku content is the direction that I'm gonna focus on for that regard. For now, like, it's mostly just for fun and to spend time with my mom. So, yeah. But anyway, end of stream announcements and whatnot. It is Monday, so tomorrow is Tuesday, and there is Sudoku on Tuesdays as well at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. On Thursday and Friday night, although it is after midnight, so that actually makes it Friday and Saturday morning, is Project Zomboid, and I will be playing Horizon Zero Dawn randomly whenever I'm awake and feeling like playing Horizon Zero Dawn. There's a playlist listed on YouTube for where I put those streams. Although, never mind. But yeah, other than that, I think that is all of the things. So, Mama, any final comments on anything before we sign off?
No, I'm just sleepy.
It is the time of nap. I will try to nap here once we sign off. So, all right. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Like, comment, subscribe, and share the YouTube videos. It really helps. Or at least I've been told it helps. Goodbye.